Hello, everybody, and welcome back to What If Belle was a part of the shirai? And yeah, quick disclaimer: there are a few things in here that are made purely by fans, and all credit goes to the artists who made these. So yeah, and if you want a reminder, Belle and Rachel Hasashi both left the previous village due to them constantly getting complaints about them causing too many bloody fires. Which is not actually them who are doing that. Just to give you a quick disclaimer. So, we are moving swiftly on to when they are actually on the move. To where Belle is walking alongside Rachel as they both talk to each other, but they also do a little bit of training as well, considering they don't have any testing dummies or training dummies. As they both realise that training with each other is a lot better than training with training dummies. As well, a few weeks pass of them searching for a new place to live, going from coastal town to coastal town, them all getting these two just getting rejected time and time again. Rachel and Belle do bump into a few Link Quay, and yeah, you can most probably guess, yeah, they didn't survive the encounter. The Link Quay, that is. As they had an encounter, as I said, with Link Quay. This Link Quay shouted, "Shirai, you dog!" Or dogs. As they throw insults at each other, as they fight, as Bell, well, gets shanked by one of them, as he proceeds to then brutally and over the top brutalize the guy, with Rachel being the one to drag him away from the mangled corpse. As they find another place to rest, as Belle then gets a nightmare of, well, the Shia Ryu village. But it's so bad, it's a quite big nightmare. He relives the memories of him when he was 8, watching the entire village burn to the ground, watching Sub-Zero and Scorpion fight, then listening to Rachel's mother hide her with him as she then gets, well, Ard then killed. Well, yeah, just Ard. I think you guys can get what the R means. Then immediately killed afterwards. Fucked up by now, but hey. As I said in the last video, Mortal Kombat does not throw its punches, well, just throws its punches. And that's unfortunately what I gotta do to keep in line with the Mortal Kombat universe. But we'll tone it down a bit more, unlike what I did last time. I do apologise for that. Well, moving on. He, instead of just him being put there with Rachel, it's him on his own as he gets found by Link Quay, as he gets forced to watch Rachel's mother again get hard, then killed, then watch Rachel get her skin peeled off slowly. It's all he can hear is her screams as it jolts him awake. As he wakes up, he just breathes very heavily. As Rachel wakes up, because she's next to him, obviously, because of course she would be, as she puts her hand on his shoulder, as she asks, "Belle, you okay? Hello? Belle?" Yes. Well, she realizes that his body temperature is not exactly right. But she doesn't say anything about it, she just brushes it aside, as Belle just gets up and says, I I I need to go and take a walk. As she just says, "Nightmare? Back about the village? When it burned to the ground?" As Belle just sighs, saying, "Yes. Yes, it was. And I'd rather not speak of it. Just so please, let me go for a walk. I'll be back in 20 minutes. Okay?" "Okay, Belle. Just don't stray too far. Remember, we got to find a coastal village for us to live." "I know. I know. Just, just, just give me, just give me 20, as I said." "Fine. Fine. When you're done, come back here, lie down, and go back to sleep again. Your wounds fully haven't healed from when you got stabbed a few days ago." "Yep, a few days have passed." As Belle walks off, as he sees well, 5 minutes away, he sees the link, the shirai scorpion symbol. As he just whispers to himself, saying, "Scorpion, Hanzo Hasashi, please tell me you're alive." As he then sees the Lin Kuei symbol on the other side of the tree. But then, after he looks closer, he sees the scorpion within the Lin Kuei symbol. As he would just say, "Who dares mock our symbol? Who truly dares this?" As he looks around, checking checking the tree out for traps, or if it's an illusion of his mind, as it's confirmed that it's no illusion. This is all real. As he'll say, "So, the Lin Kuei dare mock us like this. I'll find these Lin Kuei and I'll kill them all. Especially for what they did to our village." As he would, burn the tree of the marks of the Lin Kuei and the shirai. Not obviously causing a fire, but causing it enough to scorch. As he then feels cold. As he then says to himself, "That's odd. My body usually doesn't drop below its actual temperature. Why is that? Why is that?" As he walks away, as he continues speaking to himself, saying, "This is just great. Well, I don't want any Lin Kuei there is some." As he hears laughter, he hides behind a tree, as all he can hear is, "Subby, please, you're tickling me." As this woman looks at the tree, As she says, "Honey, I think there's a shirai member here." As all you hear is a what? Shirai? Impossible. As he looks towards the tree, and she says, "I swear there was a shirai member just there. I thought you said that clan was wiped out." "The clan is impossible. If but if if there's a clan member alive, they can rebuild it. This is brilliant." "How is this brilliant?" "I didn't attack their clan." As well, as he said this, when he said this, Belle was nowhere to be found, or even nowhere near. As he rushes over to, well, Rachel, as he shakes her awake, as she just says, "What, Belle?" As she looks down, saying, interesting. Place of waking me up." As he just says, "Oh, shut up. Stop taking everything I do sexually, will you? We gotta go now. Sub-Zero's here." "What?" "Shia Ryu. Right? This way. Sub-Zero. That's right. Now, tell me, how would you like to train? How about you would love to die?" As they both put fireballs in their hand, and Sub-Zero just says, "Wait, wait, wait. I am a friend. I am not here to attack you." As well, so, Belle and Rachel both attack him, not really caring. But they both know they can't really deal with Sub-Zero because he is top tier. As Bill grabs hold of his side, as he still fights, with Sub-Zero actually kicking both of them down, as he just says, "Listen to me, Shirai. I am friend. I am not here to harm you. I am here to teach you and help you train to find the one who truly, as well, before you could say the one who truly did such and such to the village, he has a fireball thrown at his face as he does an ice clone just in the nick of time to avoid the damage. As Belle and Rachel get back up and charge at him again, Belle still holding on to his side. As they both start kicking and punching at Sub-Zero, he starts, well, you can see tiny bits of sweat droplets, sweat coming down from his forehead. As he starts whispering to himself, "God damn it, Katana, where are you? I need you right now." As all three of them could hear was, "Hands off my husband!" As well, Rachel gets kicked in the face and she gets sent flying. As she says, "Seriously? You start a battle without me?" And she pulls out her two fans. As Sub-Zero just says, "Deal, try to subdue the girl. I'll subdue him. Honey, he's already injured. It shouldn't take you this long to deal with two people. Do you want to try and take them both on? Be my guest, sweetie. But if you don't, suggestion, deal with the girl. I'll deal with him." "Fine. Take care, love." As she would go after Rachel. As Sub-Zero and Belle would both stand there staring at each other. Belle, obviously, still holding on to his side. As he would then pull his hand away, looking at, going into a combat stance, then to realise that his wound has opened again, only for him to put the pressure back on. As Sub-Zero would say, You're too injured. Please, settle down. I'm not here to kill you. Don't make your injuries worse. The shirai will never forgive what you've done. Tell me, what have I done? Are you talking about your village that I did not lead the... As he gets punched in the face because he was too busy talking. As Belle would just say, "Shut up, dog. I don't care about your dogma or your pathetic talk. You know what you did, and you will die here and now. Damn my injuries." As Belle would then pull his hand away as he would truly get into a combat stance, as the wound would start bleeding a lot more. As Sub-Zero would get back up, as he would check his jawline, as he would undo his mask and spit out a tooth, just to do his mask back up again, saying, "Very well. If I must subdue you with more injuries, so be it." As he would create more ice on himself, as they both would run at each other, kicking and punching each other. As Sub-Zero would actually tag Bell where his injury is, but placing ice there to help stop the bleeding. As Bell would then just break it off, saying, "What kind of trick was that? Trying to stab me in my weak spot already? That's why the Link Way have no honor." As well, with Rachel and Katana, it's a case of a cat fight. But on a much grandiose scale, it's Mortal Kombat. With these two, yeah, it's not exactly a slapping match, but this kind of cat fight, it's a lot more gruesome. Hair pulling is not one of them. Punching somebody on the eyeball, however, that is. As Rachel is the one that delivers that punch to Katana, giving her somewhat of a black eye. As Katana slices Rachel across her left chest side. It's not deep enough to do any severe damage, but it's enough to make it hurt. As Rachel would punch Katana right in the leg with a small blade going a little deep, almost right into the main artery. As she would pull it back out, as Katana would sort of grunt in pain, as she would say, nice cut. You would have made a very good assassin of the shirai. I will admit, girl, you're a lot better trained than you look. No wonder why my husband revered your father so much, Rachel Hasashi. So you know my father's name? Let me guess, you fought him before? Why, yes, I have fought him before. He was a very strange man, but a very good sense of honor. Never really liked holding back, even on women. No sexual joke meant for that one, but, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mortal Kombat. Everybody gets treated the same. Mostly. As, well, these two continue their little cat fight, with Katana actually slicing Rachel across her arm and also stabbing her in the leg. As she would say, "That's 2 for 2 now. Let's see how much you can learn from a real fight. I think your boyfriend would do better than you right now, if he wasn't injured by your stupidity, most probably. As Rachel would get really mad out of that. As she would flare up, saying, "Watch what you say, whelp. You are nothing compared to Shirai. If that was so, Rachel, why would my husband's clan kill you or most of you, but leave you and your boyfriend and your father alive?" "Oh wait, the other clans got involved. My husband is thoroughly convinced that his clan shouldn't have done such a thing. He revered and respected your father." As well, they're about to launch an attack as somebody jumps down in front of them as he shouts, "You four are morons!" As he shouts this, it grabs Bells and Sub-Zero's attention. As, well, he then jumps in front of Sub-Zero and Bell as they're about to throw a punch at each other as he shouted, "All four of you are morons." As Bell just punches the guy in the face as it sends him sliding. As he would say, "Get out of here, boy. This doesn't concern you." As he just says, "It does, Bell Cornell. Rachel Hasashi. And you, Katana. And you, Sub-Zero. I can't believe I leave you two alone for so long, for a little while, to go and pee, and yet you four all start fighting. Wait, Lucas, is that you?" "Of course it is. What, do you think a man in a hoodie, or cloak would just walk off and leave you two behind?" "Lucas, why are you in both colors?" "Quite simple, old man. I am part shirai and Lin Kuei." "Impossible, Lucas. It's just impossible. How could you be part Lin Kuei and Shirai? I looked into my heritage. I am actually related to you, Sub-Zero. And I'm also related to her," as he points over to Rachel. "You're the offspring between a Sub-Zero and Lin Kuei and a Shirai?" "Ah, yes. I am. My father was Lin Kuei. My mother was Shirai. That technically makes me your nephew. And her cousin of sorts." As well, he explains everything, because I'm not going to explain it, because I have no idea how to do it. As well, everybody parts ways, not on friendliest of terms, especially Rachel and Katana, as they find a water village, water town. As they walk in, as the elder comes out to greet them, and yes, it is Zeus. As Zeus, as they don't really know him, greets them in kind, saying, "Welcome to my village. How may my humble village help you travelers out today?" As Rachel would open up, saying, "We're looking to settle down here." "Ah, you're here to buy a house, are you? We have plenty of houses on for sale." As Bell would speak, saying, can we have one on the outskirts of the village, of this town? Please. In kind of a sort of hostile way. As Zeus will just narrow his eyes, saying, I ask you to respect my authority here. I will forgive this aggressive attitude of yours, young man. As he sort of gives off a bit of a very powerful aura of ki, considering they can actually feel ki, as his ki is very strong. With Bell quickly losing the attitude as he bows, saying, Forgive me. I shouldn't have raised my voice, Elder. With Zeus just saying, Elder? I'm only in my 40s. That still makes you an elder. As Rachel would also bow, saying, We're sorry, we had a very bad encounter on the way here. It's alright, it's alright. Up there on the hill is a small house for you. It's not very good. Well, it's not very big, but it should do your needs. For however long you plan to stay. Thank you, Elder. Village Elder. You're welcome. Don't wreck the place now, you two. As they would go up to their new humble abode. Is, well, Belle will take off the mask and reveal his face, with Rachel doing the same. But not taking off any more of her clothing, just removing her face mask and that. Well, that was interesting. Did you feel the key? How could I not feel it? How could I not feel it? I was right next to the guy. How could we both not feel it? We're both next to the guy. The town elder is something, huh? You're the one to say that, Belle. Seriously. His key. Whew. His key was off the charts. Who knew a town elder would be so strong in key? Anyway, fancy exploring? The town, anyway? Yes, let's. As they both put their masks back on, as they go through the town, as some of the townsmen and women, along with a few kids, greet them in kind, as they sort of say, Good afternoon, strangers, as they both bow, saying good afternoon to you as well. As Rachel would say, this village is a lot more livelier than the other one who you went to, with Belle just agreeing, as he then perks up, saying, Well, unlike the last one, this one is actually less hostile, more open to strangers, especially if they're wearing masks to cover their mouths and most of their head. As Rachel would agree, as Belle would continue saying, I just hope we don't have to be suspicious, don't have people suspecting us of nothing but being no gooders. Don't you agree? As Rachel would just say, yeah. Let's just hope we don't have to put out fires like in our village before we got kicked out of it. Agreed. As they would eventually walk back home, stopping a guy from mugging a kid in an alleyway. as Rachel would grab the kid, as Belle would grab the guy. As they'll drag, well, Belle would drag the guy out into the open and throw him onto the floor. As he would then grab him by the collar and basically, talk to him. Eventually, they get home with Belle walking into the bedroom, only to drastically find out that there's only one bed. As Belle sighs significantly, saying, "Oh boy, I am not going to like this." As well, he goes to sleep. As well, he then feels someone next to him. As he does not dare open his eyes, because he does not want to get scarred again. As well, he could feel what was behind him. As well, he could feel a hand go, underneath his arm. As well, then he could feel a leg go through his legs as well. As he would sigh and fall asleep for quite some time. That's until she says something in her sleep that makes him very creeped out. As he tries to get out of the situation he's in, she just is constantly attached to him. As she starts muttering, "No, stay here, don't leave me." As she scream "Father," as she jump up. As it turns out to be morning. As she finds a letter saying there is a event going on in town tonight. You are both invited. I didn't put both in there. Whoops. As well, she would read it thoroughly, and she'd go to pat Belle, but only to find out that Belle ain't there. As she would start freaking out, as she would get up, run straight to the living room, then straight to the kitchen to find Belle sitting at a table. As she would just sigh, saying, "Oh, there you are. I thought you vanished out of thin air. Thought I was having a dream when I was sleeping next to you. Or sleeping with you." And as Belle would just say, "Consider that dream completely not crushed." As she completely forgot that she was not wearing anything. As she would actually put maracas on top of, beside Belle's head, both on either side, as she would actually hug him. As Belle would go bright red, as he would say, "Put some clothes on," as she would sort of look down and say, "Oh, be right back." As she quickly walks off, with Belle still holding a bit of his breakfast, as he's just sitting there shaking, like, how many times does she do this? Anyway, moving on later in the day, when it's night time, as they both go to this town event, as there are people clapping, dancing, because there's music, having some drinks again, and the kids are all playing. As there's a little section for the kids to play in the town hall. as well. Some of the kids actually do go home because it's past their bedtime as well. All the adults are still dancing or taking a few drinks. As Belle is curious on how to dance. As the as somebody taps him on the shoulder, saying, as he says, "What?" Because Rachel's next to him, somebody asked them both to hug each other or be next to each other. As they kind of get into the position of being close to each other. And yes, by the way, Belle does have those kind of muscles. As Rachel sort of pulls out a rope spear or a chain spear or a chain kunai, as some guy draws them all out. What draws them out is Rachel goes slightly pink slightly red in the face, as she whispers in Belle's ear, which he was about to let go, as the guy said, "No, continue holding her. I'm not done drawing you guys out yet." As he said, "I'll kill you later for that one." As she would wink, saying, "Yeah, you could try." As Rachel would say, "You could try. I'm sorry about that, guys." As eventually the guy says, "All right, you can let her go. Let your lady companion go now." As they would let go, or he would let go of her. As the man would then tag him, saying, "I heard about what she said. You gotta keep her." As Belle would then say, "But we're not even dating." As he would actually go and try and figure out how to dance. But after a few hours, he drops it and has a few things to drink. As he ends up waking up back at home to find out that Rachel had a delivery of a picture of them. As Belle would rub his eyes, saying, "Oh, my head. What the hell?" As he would try to move, as he would see that there's some hair in his face. As he would look down, see that the room is kind of wrecked. And in the front, and some of you guys may understand where I'm going with that one, so I'll leave that all to your imaginations. Don't take it too far, though. As he looks down to see Rachel with, her strewn over him, her with a massive smile. As he tries to move her, he hears, "That was some night." She's still asleep. I should just whisper to, just say out loud, "That was some night. I wish that could happen. I wish I could replay that all night, all day." He was certainly very frisky that night. And that night I am keeping in my memory. As she doesn't wake up still. She's still fast asleep. As I said, as Belle listens to her, as she continues speaking, saying, one day when we were out town, had a picture drawn of us, which looks very cute. Of us, me whispering in his ear of that little joke as he threatened to kill me and let me go. Him then getting told to hold on to me again. But this time he was virtually about to break my arm because he was pissed. Then he tries to go dancing. The funniest thing I've ever seen in all my life. Then he tries to, well, he drinks a little bit too much. We come home after he is too badly wasted. Got to admit, I was slightly drunk, not too drunk. Then he kissed me. I kissed him back. And now we ended up in these positions all night. And I was too far gone. I couldn't stop him. I couldn't stop myself from enjoying it. All the way. And she sort of, well, moans a bit. She puts herself upright, where her belly is actually facing upwards, and her back is actually on her back. She actually lies on her back, basically. With her just breathing in very softly and then breathing outwards. As well. Bill would say to himself, "Did we bang last night? God, I must have been wasted. I promised myself I wouldn't do that to her. I would not disrespect Master Hasashi's daughter like this." He then hear her say, "I don't even care what my father thinks. I love Belle too much." Obviously, she does not know that she's saying this out loud. As well, Belle blushes a bit, saying, "She loves me that much? Jesus." As well, she would say a few other things that would immediately grab his attention. One of them being, she could feel it right there. And she had it all over her. As he would immediately go really red in the face because he got really embarrassed. As she would then say a few other things, which then forces him to slap her as it wakes her up. And she just shouts, "Ow! My beautiful face!" As she then turns around to see Belle with a very, very wide-eyed and very red face. As she would say, "Oh, morning, lover boy. You certainly rocked the country what you did last night. Because you sure as hell weren't holding any punches. That's for sure." With Belle telling her to get off right now. Right this instant before he throws a kunai at her. As she would get up, go onto her knees, sitting over him, and saying, "Why would you say that? Don't you want to hear the funny story of what you did last night?" Belle would just say, "No, I heard it all earlier. Well, I heard it just a few minutes ago. I heard the whole thing." "No. I promised myself I would not do these sort of things to you. because you're my master's daughter. Your 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 master, aka your sensei, is my father. And be also true for you, Belle. I've always loved you because you're always so dedicated. Hey, I'm dedicated to trying to catch up to you, for God's sake. Belle just saying, yeah, catching up. Are you, like, trying to catch up in a good way or a good way? And she would just say, triple good way? Is that an option? With Belle sort of saying, possibly? It depends. With Rachel then humming, saying, I should lean back down on him. I should say, I should reach down and grab a certain place. And she would say, get off. And she would say, that area says otherwise, Belle. As Belle would just say, get off right now. Stop it with this stupidity. And she would giggle, saying, how about no? I'm gonna keep you like this for a little while longer. And plus, I don't think you've realised, but our clothes aren't particularly in this room. I put them all in the wash. Luckily, I brought myself some spare clothes. No, I put them in the wash too. You got to enjoy the full view. As well, she then goes to sleep again, and she basically says, plus Belle, I think your head requires some more rest, to be honest and truthful with you. And don't worry, I'm not going to do anything stupid. You did enough of that last night. And I still love it. And I still love that memory. Because that's the one thing I am never going to get rid of. As well, a full day passes. With Belle finally being able to get out of the house after sleeping for a full day. And yes, he did have Rachel with him all the time. As well, he then finds the town elder as he bows to him. They thank you for the public event a few nights ago. Well, a night ago. It was fun, to say the least. It was not fun, interesting, because he's never been to a public event before. As well, Zeus sort of asks him, well, my boy, what makes you say it was interesting? With Belle saying it was my first time ever being in a public event. With Zeus sort of laughing, saying, first time for everything, boy. So please, tell me, what do you do, specifically? As he was about to answer, as Rachel pops in, saying, oh, we are a part of a clan. We are assassins. With a few people gulping, as Zeus says, assassins? Are you part of the famous group, the shirai? As they would say, yes, we are. And somebody would laugh, saying, the shirai are all dead. The village got wiped out. How can you two be shirai? Even the children didn't survive. No offense to that clan or anything. They were tough. They're tough. And really good at assassinating people. But they just... they got wiped out by another clan, apparently. I don't know. That's what the rumors are all saying. As well, Belle says, yeah, we barely survived. We were 8 at the time. As everybody says, wait, you were 8 years old? As Belle just says, I was 8, she was 7. Well, approaching 8 at the time, but she was still 7 years old. As they ask, wait, how long until she was 8? As Belle said, just 2 weeks. 2 months, sorry. 2 months and then she was 8. With Zeus sort of laughing, saying, so you two saw the entire massacre of your clan? By the gods, you must have mental scarring. As Rachel would say, yeah, the scarring is deep. But that's not the only thing that's deep, though. As you elbow Belle, as he would just say, oh, don't bring this up now. God's sake, woman. As Zeus would get the hint, as he would just wink at Belle, as Belle would just stick a middle finger up, saying, don't. Just don't. As Zeus would just laugh and say, you don't have to worry about me, boy. My lips are sealed. You two obviously had your fun, so I would leave you to it. Especially considering she is rather happy about it. As Rachel would make a flame kunai, and she would say, you want to try it? Try and spoil my little fun? And she would spin it around on her finger, as Zeus would gulp, saying, you've got a keeper, that's for sure. As Belle would just say, yeah, apparently so. I can't get rid of her now. Because if her father ever turns up, oh boy. As they would get a message, somebody saying, what have you done to my daughter, boy? With Belle going really, really pale. As he sort of does an anime thing where they turn their head really slowly. As he gulps when he fully turns around to see Scorpion. Hanzo Hasashi. With him sort of tapping his arm as Rachel would shout, Daddy! Well, basically just shout Daddy like a little girl would do as she tries to hug him as he pushes her away, saying, I will have words with you later, young lady. And I mean words. What did you both do? With Belle sort of saying, it was an accident, Sensei. It was a godforsaken accident. I mean it. Sorry. With Scorpion cracking his knuckles as he would get into a fighting stance. With Belle looking at Rachel as she would say, I haven't seen my old man this angry for a while. Could we run? Not unless you want to lose your honor. Oh boy, we're going to get an ass kicking. Can somebody please evacuate the entire town? As well, Belle gets in a fighting stance along with Rachel as Zeus evacuates the entire town. As everybody evacuates, Hanzo Hasashi charges at them both as Belle throws a punch along with Rachel as they miss. As it turns out, he wasn't angry, he was happy because it turns out he was hugging them both, saying, "Oh, I'm going to leave that nonsense about that for tomorrow, but you two, oh, thank God you're safe." As they're both taken back by this, as Belle says, "Sensei, what do you mean?" As well, Hanzo Hasashi just says, "When I returned to the village you were in, I heard that you two were kicked out of the village, well, of the town. And I knew my daughter loved ocean towns anyway, so I went around all towns searching for you, high and low. When I heard that in this town that there was a festival, well, a public event, and a certain somebody went a bit tipsy with yellow and black, I immediately knew who it was. Because not only that, he had a scorpion on his back." As Belle would look to his sides, seeing a actual scorpion, as he would just say, like the one on my shoulder? As Hasashi would break the hug and look at Belle, as he would look at his shoulder, seeing the scorpion. As the scorpion would actually, well, not actually be hostile towards anybody. As Hasashi puts his hand out, the scorpion, well, sort of goes over to Hasashi and climbs up him. As it would go, well, onto his shoulder and just turn around and not really do anything. As well, Hasashi and everybody else, and Belle and Rachel, head back to their home. As he sees the room, that's when Belle gets into trouble. As Belle says, "Yeah, this is why I wanted to run. I wanted to make a double as another bed so I could sleep in it. But your daughter shot me down." As he quickly drags Rachel into it, and she says, "Oh man, this is gonna hurt." As they do start getting into a fight with punches and kicks and a few tactics as well. Rachel gets knocked out by her father, as he is very disappointed in her. But Belle, on the other hand, he is not disappointed in, because he actually kept up training. And oh boy, a few minutes later, ding ding, Belle's on the floor, as smoke appears to be puffing out of him in a good old ouch way. As well, a few days go past, and Belle finally wakes up, along with not Idril, no, along with Rachel, who's next to him. As she just says, "Yeah, morning." As Belle would just say, "It's not morning, it's Jesus Christ, somebody kill me. Your father really hates me this time." Oh. As he would try to get up, but just fall back down to the floor, because he's in that much pain still. With Rachel saying, "You think you're in pain? He knocked me out first." As they could hear Hanzo Hasashi again saying, "The reason why I knocked you out first is because you didn't keep up with your training. As Rachel would say, Dad, you know I am not as good as everybody else. Oh, Jesus Christ, Dad, you hurt too much. You need to pull back on your punches with your daughter. I'm fragile like that. But not as fragile as what I heard. Apparently you two went at it last night. The whole village could hear you. As Zeus actually walks in, saying, technically the village couldn't hear them. People could just tell what was going to happen. As Zeus would walk in, saying, here's the notice. As Hanzo Hasashi would actually take a image instead. As he would smile. As he would turn around saying, really? You two had a cuddly picture like this? Rachel, I love the way you actually had a kunai. A chained spear kunai this time. And not a rope spear one. And she would smirk, saying, I nicked it off of him when he wasn't looking. As Belle would just say, what? Hey, how the hell did you... That was firmly attached to my belt. And how did you manage to unchain that from my belt? Creepy woman. As Hasashi would just laugh, saying, Belle, I've never missed your antics. Hey, don't blame me, blame your daughter. As she would just say, hey, don't blame me. I wasn't the only one who got into trouble last night. Half the village did. Going back to the party where everybody got into a bit of a fist fight before Belle went home. That includes the women. The women started punching people. It was a free-for-all. All the children were firmly tucked away at home, so they never got to see the bloody aftermath. Or aftermath. You guys know what I'm saying. As well. Hasashi didn't really get the rest of the details because Belle elbowed her, telling her to shut up about the rest of the night. But he got the gist of it, as he would grab Belle and drag him outside. With him saying, oh shit, please don't kill me. As Hasashi would actually have him outside, as he would say, put his hands on his shoulder, as he would say, with a smile, after pulling off his mask, as he would point at him saying, if my daughter ends up having your kids, that'll be the best day of my life. With Belle actually having a few question marks pop up in his mind, saying, huh? He dragged me out here just to say that? As he actually says this out loud as well. With Hasashi smiling, saying, yes, as it goes very serious. But if you make her cry, boy, your life is in my hands, and you will not be living to tell the tale. As he will go back to smiling, saying, got it? As Belle would nod, saying, yeah, I'm going to jump off the bridge. As Hasashi would drag him back, saying, no, you do not. As they were having that conversation, Idril was talking to Zeus. As Zeus could quite clearly hear what they were talking about. As Zeus just started snorting a bit, as Rachel says, what's the matter, sir? As Zeus would just say, oh, it's nothing that you need to worry your little head about, young lady. Let's just say this. Your father just told him to keep you, safe and happy. As Rachel would just say, but I am safe and I am happy. I got my father back and I got somebody there with me all the time. But I don't think my father would be happy that way, well, as she would put two fingers together, as Zeus would get the mental image and say, aha, you're afraid that he may have, with Rachel saying, yeah, I'm afraid that he may have. As Zeus would say, let's take a look, shall we? As he would put his hand above Idril's stomach, not Idril, Rachel's stomach, as she would say, what are you doing? As Zeus would say, shh, I'm not doing anything bad, don't worry, just checking on something. As he would then put a finger up to Rachel's head, as he would sort of do like an ultrasound on her. As he would pull his finger away, as he would hear something. As he would quickly pull his hand away, help Rachel up and say, let's put you on a sofa so you're not on the floor. As Hasashi and Vel walk back in. And that's actually where I'm going to be leaving it for a while, guys. See you later on.